Tom Aspinall has done nothing wrong. And I'd probably be loose with the word friend if I said Tom Aspinall's a friend of mine. I'd probably be loose with it, but whatever one step down before you reach the friendship zone, whatever that is, I have with Tom. I know his old man. I like Tom, right? Okay. I got to preface it with that because Tom is the longest reigning interim heavyweight champion in history. That stat just came out. And very interesting stat, right? That's a good thing in any sport. To be the longest reigning, and by the way, hey, over here at Bad Guy Inc., we don't give a goddamn what they put in front of world champion. They can put interim, they can put featherweight, they can put anything they want. If it ends in world champion, right? If Tom is the longest reigning world champion, I mean, you're talking about Jack Johnson type stuff. You're talking about Muhammad Ali type praise. Okay. But Dominick Cruz. I don't know who the longest reigning 135-pound champion is. I don't know. But I would imagine it was Dominick Cruz. Just because he did 3.5 years out of the sport, and we had grace. It was knee injuries. It was nothing that was his fault, man. It was devastating him. He wanted back so bad that Dana, on a human level, wanted to take the belt off him. And he was asked to, and he was prompted to, and he even held a meeting with Dom. And he came into the meeting and said, "I'm not taking the belt off you." Now, I believe when Dana called the meeting, it was to inform him, "I got to take the belt off you." I don't think you call a meeting to give a guy good news. I think Dana changed his mind in the moment. I mean, I think it's a really interesting story. But either way, I digress. I believe that I'm right, that Dominick Cruz would be the longest ever 135-pound champion. But I also believe that because of the 3.5 years, and there was no competition and there was injuries. And isn't that really what we're talking about here? I mean, I would like for Tom to be elevated to undisputed champion if, in fact, Jon is refusing to fight him. It's the very reason the interim belt was created is for when a guy was a closet champion and would not defend. It later became illness, injury, delays in a fight. But the actual intent to be able to move on with the division is we're trying to straighten something out with a guy. I mean, and if that is what's happening, of which that evidence isn't yet provided, I'm just sharing with you that I would like Tom elevated. And the reason I tell you that is to compliment Tom before I come in and I tell you he should not be the interim champion. You must understand, we adhere to the rules that we make up as we go. That's true until it's been done. Once it's been done, that's now the way it is. That's known as precedence. Once the precedence is set, that is now what we do. Well, this was just done. It was done by Ilia Topuria. He said, "I'm not going to defend the featherweight belt." You all in the media, and myself included, have all made it about weight and size, and he doesn't want to beat the scale anymore. We could be right. But it's subsequent. It's a moot point. It does not matter why. Ilia Topuria is not going to defend the featherweight belt. Therefore, they take back the featherweight belt. They hold a championship match. Winner was Volkanovski. That was the correct move. Obviously. We take a guy at his word. Ilia Topuria says, "I'm not going to defend the featherweight belt." No different than when Henry Cejudo said, "I'm not defending the 35-pound belt." There is no difference. You take the belt back and you move on. Tom has said, "I will not defend the interim belt." Tom has gone further to say, "I will not fight for any belt that isn't undisputed." Now, it didn't have to be Jon. It was an interesting claim by Tom, and I just want to make sure that you do understand the distinction. Tom is not saying it's Jon Jones or bust. Give me Jon or else. He's saying, I am the interim champion, and I am willing to compete. Which, if the undisputed champion is not willing to do, I then get those duties. So Tom is willing to fight, by the way. And again, we just take him at his word. I don't want you to jump in and go, well, Chael, he's got the right to change his mind. So did Ilia Topuria, and so did Henry Cejudo. We took them at their word, which were the exact same words that Tom used. No more interim title fights. He doesn't have to fight Jon next, but whatever he does do next, they need to put up the undisputed belt or you're not going to get him. Don't come to me and tell me you can negotiate your way out of that. We take a guy at his word. So if Ilia or Henry not going to defend their belt, we take the belt back. If Tom is saying, I'm not going to defend my belt, we take the belt back. I'm okay with Tom getting the undisputed belt. By the way, this isn't like against Tom. I know I keep saying that, but I would like to make that clear. He should not be the interim champion. The moment he says, I'm not going to defend it, he should not be the interim champion. I'll give you another story. It's Colby Covington. Colby Covington was the interim champion, never lost. Woke up one day and was no longer the interim champion. So we're keeping a belt around Tom's waist that should not be there. It is impossible, under the dictionary definition, to have an interim champion in the presence of an undisputed champion. It's not possible. And the moment the bell rang at Madison Square Garden for Jones versus Stipe, it relinquishes Tom of his belt, but they didn't do it. I even asked Tom about that. Tom came up to the set on ESPN, right there at Madison Square Garden, the cage in the background. I asked him about that. He said, Chael, the only one I have ever heard suggest that this belt be taken from me is you. And that's the way that is still to this day. It's never been suggested, not by anybody. So, but now we're getting into the territory of breaking records. That goes down in the history books. That's forever. That is a big damn deal. Because somebody else wants it. Records are only set and we only keep track. They're only set to be broken. It, on one hand, acknowledges somebody, but it's really to motivate the rest of the guys. It's an incentive to come in and get that themselves. And you got your thumb on the scale right now. You have a thumb on the scale that is adding seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months to the belt. Colby never lost. Is Colby still interim champion today? Colby beat the BMF champion and didn't become the BMF champion. So even if you say that Colby did lose somewhere along the way, well, if he didn't put the belt up, no different than the BMF champion didn't put his belt up. I mean, I'm only suggesting for you the level of ridiculousness that we're at. And it is a problem. It is. These words matter. And you got to understand. Sour grapes by me? Yeah, a little bit. I am the linear champion. I am the only guy to fight-endingly hurt Jon Jones in competition. I ripped his toe off, basically. I threw it in the crowd, basically. Right? These are expressions. I am the linear champion, but he is the belt. And I think that we can all see where that is a bit of a problem.